Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. B&B spoilers. Steffy Forrester sabotages Carter and Hope romance. Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline McSinswood, doesn't seem to want Hope Logan, Annika Noel, to be with anyone on The Bold and the Beautiful. Will Hope's new fling with Carter Walton, Lawrence Street Victor, end prematurely when Steffy finds out? Here's what's happening next week on Bold and Beautiful. Keep reading for all new soap spoilers. Steffy Forrester has been happily married to Dr. John Finnegan, Tanner Novlin, for a couple years now, but that hasn't stopped her from meddling Hope's relationships. First, Steffy Forrester encouraged Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, to end things with Hope. Then she ran off Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson. We also can't forget about her not letting Hope kiss Dr. Finn, but who can really fault Steffy for that one? There seems to be a recurring theme on Bold and the Beautiful, and it's starting to seem like Steffy doesn't want Hope to have a man at all. It won't be long before Steffy gets wind of the sparks flying between Carter and Hope, and she's not impressed. B&B spoilers hint Steffy could even pressure Carter to cut ties and quote the inter-office relationship policies at Forrester Creations that literally nobody follows. Steffy could even argue that she's afraid Carter is going to manipulate the Hope for the future sales numbers for his new girlfriend. There seems to be a recurring theme on Bold and the Beautiful, and it's starting to seem like Steffy doesn't want Hope to have a man at all. It won't be long before Steffy gets wind of the sparks flying between Carter and Hope, and she's not impressed. B&B spoilers hint Steffy could even pressure Carter to cut ties and quote the inter-office relationship policies at Forrester Creations that literally nobody follows. Steffy could even argue that she's afraid Carter is going to manipulate the Hope for the future sales numbers for his new girlfriend. The heat in Los Angeles was nothing compared to the fire brewing within Steffy Forrester's office at Forrester Creations. Papers rustled on her desk as she read through the latest design proposals, but her mind wasn't on fabric or fashion trends. No, her thoughts lingered on something, or rather someone, else, Hope Logan. Hope's every move seemed to gnaw at her lately, and now there was a fresh twist to her rival's life that Steffy couldn't ignore. Carter Walton and Hope? It seemed absurd at first. After all, Carter was the Forrester family's reliable legal counsel, the rock, and the quintessential good guy. But recently, Steffy had noticed the subtle glances exchanged between him and Hope during meetings. The quiet conversations that didn't always seem work-related. And then, there was the undeniable spark at the charity gala. A romance blossoms amid chaos. Hope, fresh off her tumultuous separation from Liam Spencer, had leaned on Carter during some difficult times. At first, their relationship appeared strictly professional. Carter helped Hope navigate some legal issues related to her foundation. But Steffy wasn't blind. She saw how Carter's eyes softened when he looked at Hope, and how Hope seemed lighter, freer when she was around him. What irked Steffy most was the timing. Liam was already spiraling over his divorce, clinging to the possibility of reconciliation. And now, Hope had found solace with someone else. It felt calculated. A slap in the face to Liam, and by extension, to Steffy, who had her own complicated history with Hope. Steffy told herself it wasn't about jealousy. She was happily married to Finn, the love of her life. But her instincts told her that a Carter-Hope romance would spell trouble, not just for Liam, but for Forrester Creations as well. And Steffy wasn't about to let that happen. Plotting the interference. Sabotage is such a harsh word. Steffy mused aloud to Thomas during a private conversation in her office. "I'm just protecting Carter from making a mistake." Thomas raised an eyebrow, leaning back in the chair opposite her desk. "You're really going to get involved in Carter's love life? I didn't realize you moonlighted as a matchmaker." "This isn't about matchmaking," Steffy shot back. "Carter's too important to this company, to this family. If he gets involved with Hope and things go south, it'll create chaos, we've seen how these things play out." Thomas smirked, clearly amused by his sister's determination. "So what's the plan, Steffi? You going to stage an intervention?" She didn't answer right away. The wheels in her mind were already turning. Steffi knew she couldn't outright confront Carter or Hope. That would make her motives too obvious. Instead, she needed to be subtle, strategic, and she had just the idea. Step 1. Planting seeds of doubt. Steffi's first move was to approach Carter under the guise of friendly concern. She caught him in the executive lounge, nursing a cup of coffee and reviewing a contract. "Busy morning?" she asked, sliding into the seat across from him. Carter looked up and smiled. "Always. What's up, Steffi?" She leaned forward, feigning casual curiosity. "I've noticed you and Hope seem to be spending a lot of time together lately. I didn't realize you two were so close." Carter chuckled, his expression neutral. "We've been working on some things for her foundation. She's got a lot on her plate right now, and I'm happy to help." "Of course," Steffi said smoothly. "You're always willing to help. That's what makes you such a great guy. But just be careful, Carter. Hope's been through a lot lately. I'd hate for you to get caught up in any unnecessary drama." Carter's brow furrowed slightly, but he nodded. "I appreciate the concern, Steffi, but Hope and I are just friends. There's no drama." For now, Steffi thought to herself. Out loud, she simply smiled and said, "Good to hear." Step 2. Stirring the pot with Liam. Next, Steffi turned her attention to Liam. It wasn't hard to push his buttons where Hope was concerned. She invited him over to her house under the pretense of discussing their co-parenting arrangement for Kelly. As they sat in the living room, sipping coffee, Steffi casually brought up Hope's newfound connection with Carter. "Have you noticed how close Hope and Carter have gotten lately?" she asked, her tone light but pointed. Liam's head snapped up. "Carter? What are you talking about?" "Oh, it's probably nothing," Steffi said with a shrug. "I just saw them at the gala. They looked pretty cozy, that's all. And I know she's been spending a lot of time with him lately. I just thought you might have noticed." Liam's jaw tightened, his mind already racing. "Hope and Carter? That doesn't make sense." "Maybe not," Steffi said, tilting her head thoughtfully. "But you know how things can change after a divorce. People look for comfort in unexpected places." Liam didn't respond, but the storm brewing in his eyes told Steffi she'd planted the seed she needed. Step 3. Enlisting Ridge. For her final move, Steffi decided to bring Ridge into the fold. She didn't tell him everything, just enough to get him on board. Over lunch, she mentioned her concerns about Carter's focus. "Dad, Carter's been distracted lately," she said. "I think it's because of Hope. I'm worried it could affect his work." Ridge frowned, his protective instincts kicking in. Carter's always been a professional. "But if there's a chance this could cause problems, I'll talk to him." Perfect, Steffi thought. With Ridge's voice of authority in the mix, it would only add pressure on Carter to rethink his budding relationship with Hope. The fallout? Steffi's efforts didn't go unnoticed for long. Hope, ever perceptive, started to sense the shift in Carter's demeanor. He became more cautious, more guarded around her. Their easy camaraderie was replaced with tension, and Hope couldn't help but wonder if someone had gotten into his ear. Meanwhile, Liam confronted Hope about her relationship with Carter, his jealousy and frustration spilling over. The confrontation only deepened the divide between them, making reconciliation even more unlikely. As for Carter, he found himself at a crossroads. Steffi's words lingered in his mind, and Ridge's gentle but firm warning weighed heavily on him. Was pursuing a relationship with Hope worth the potential fallout? The final scene. Steffi watched it all unfold with a mix of satisfaction and guilt. She hadn't meant to hurt anyone, not really. She'd only wanted to protect her family and her company. But as she stood in her office, looking out over the Los Angeles skyline, a small part of her wondered if she'd crossed a line. Was it worth it? She whispered to herself, the question hanging heavy in the air. Only time would tell.